Big boxing match coming up. If you're into that sort of thing, Steve has a take on it. Going to give you a little history lesson, why it's important, why you should watch. So without further ado, Steve, take it away.
One of the biggest boxing matches that I can think of in recent boxing history, probably bigger than Floyd and Manny was when they fought, simply because of the time frame of when they fought versus when they should have fought. But Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are squaring off July 29th for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world. So the reason that this is such a big fight, so if you know anything about boxing, one of the most annoying things is champs not fighting champs. So boxing has gotten very diluted with the amount of belts that they have in boxing today. And it's very rare that you get to see somebody have the ability to hold all four belts at one weight class, especially in these money divisions, as we call them, which are the divisions that have the best fighters and have the, top popularity. Usually that's anywhere between 130 and 168 in the heavyweights. But I personally have Errol Spence coming out of this with a late round knockout, either 10 or 11th round knockout. But the reason this is such a big fight, we have not had an undisputed champ in the welterweight division. Man, I can't tell you when the last one was. It's probably been since, actually, you know what? Since we're the sound, we are going to tell you right now, because that's what we do and we inform our viewers. So I'm sorry, Errol Spence is currently the unified welterweight champion. So, well, Errol Spence is putting his belts on the line, and all four belts are going to be up for grabs for the 147 division. So this is a huge fight. Everybody's going to be tuning in. It's probably going to be one of the most watched fights in boxing history. Yes, in boxing history. This is a fight that has been talked about for the last 2 years now. Two warriors that are going to be taking it on in the ring. Both of them are undefeated. Both of them putting their undefeated streaks on the line. Both of them putting their belts on the line. That you could not ask for a better fight. This fight is that level caliber, Cam, that this is going to be, as I said, this is the biggest welterweight fight. You're going back into the times when you had Pacquiao, Mayweather, Cotto, when you had guys like, Shane Mosley, when you had those fighters at 147. And this is bigger than some of those fights. So this is going to be a huge fight.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point, which I hadn't thought of until you said it, that in boxing, you don't get a lot of champs on champs. And I think when you talk about boxing legacies and you try to compare people, it's hard sometimes because everyone has played against such different levels of competition within their fights. It's not like, football, basketball, whatever. It's always a lot of one-on-one, and you can compare to other greats. Whereas when you do boxing, there's more rare instances of that. So this would be good for both their legacies. And like you said, just boxing as a whole, you finally have something comparable to look at and watch and enjoy.
Oh, yeah. And neither of these guys are what I would consider to be top 10 welterweights all time. The welterweight division is one of the most storied and historic divisions in boxing. But what this does is this, at least there's been an argument. This is seriously an argument as to who's number one in this division. And it really creates arguments sometimes in the boxing community. Oh no, Bud Crawford's better. Oh no, Errol Spence is and they argue and they fight. They've had some similar opponents, but what it really comes down to is now finally we will have an answer to that question.
This would kind of be like if the Bucks and Nuggets were in the finals.
We will finally have an answer to which is the real best welterweight, and we haven't had that answer in the last 5-6 years. So July 29th. It's going to be on pay-per-view. You really are not going to want to miss this fight. I'm probably going to pay to have it here. I'm going to have some wings, some pizza, a couple brewskis. So, it's going to be it's going to be a big event. Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.